There's even some evidence to show that there are less farmer suicides as a result of those who are doing animal husbandry rather than crop agriculture. You're less dependent on the weather, less dependent on irrigation. You get income throughout the year rather than just during your harvest seasons. So it's very important that we educate, motivate farmers, enable them to get access to credit, encourage them to undertake farm practices which are suited to the conditions here. And a very good example is backyard poultry. Backyard poultry is a common practice all around the country, so let's see how we can bring it more in the Northeast. Government of India funded bodies like ICAR, CARI, state agriculture universities, veterinary colleges have developed new improved varieties of chicken suitable for backyard poultry that have more productivity in both eggs and meat quality. And the Biotech Krishi Innovation Science Application Network program is a great first step that can increase the adoption of modern tools to increase the yield of farmers in animal husbandry as well as in livestock. How can we improve the genetics of the animals over here? For example, in milk, one of our initiatives is to do crossbreeding of foreign cows with Indian cows, because the Indian cows are the ones with the superior immunity, but the foreign ones have the higher milk yield. So how can we get the best of both worlds and bring that to our local cow breeds? How can we bring down the total poultry production cost through strengthening infrastructure, better breeds, educating farmers? That's going to be a key focus area for us in the future. Now, these are some suggestions that have come from various people who've interacted with officials in the Northeast on advising them to better communicate what they're doing and bring more investment over here. There's been tremendous improvement from the past, as you can see from the wonderful booklets that have been released about Invest in Nagaland, how it's an emerging investment destination. Many of the other Northeast states as well have delivered very strongly on this. But still, one suggestion is to have a nodal agency that can do advising and consulting. You have Guidance Tamil Nadu in the state of Tamil Nadu, Invest Punjab in the state of Punjab. They are advising and consulting on the most suitable opportunities, and they assign a single point of contact who's available throughout the investment journey from initiation to execution of a proposal, and the Northeast states should consider adopting a similar model. You have public-private partnerships for the greater good of the state, and that can gather more momentum in the Northeast. In Madhya Pradesh, we are part of a program called Embed that is reducing mosquito-borne diseases. In Punjab, we have partnered with the state on several measures around crop residue management to avoid stubble burning and see how you can use that crop residue more effectively. Through such purposeful engagements, Northeast states and corporates can work together and help in providing a better life to citizens. And if the Northeast states were to adopt a national level program and champion it, that would also be extremely beneficial. For example, we are partnering with Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana on the NMEO-OP program in order to further increase productivity, enhance farmers' incomes, and reduce India's import bill over the long term. Northeast states should look at seriously adopting other such similar national level programs that can have a multi-level impact on the lives and livelihood of the people in these states. And finally, be more open to online dialogue. Northeast states can accelerate their journey towards digital adoption, especially with the advent of 5G, as was mentioned earlier, and better online connectivity. There's a lot of resistance among Northeast ministers for online meetings, and there's a strong preference for physical meetings. While those are, of course, extremely useful and beneficial, nothing can quite replace them. It's important to be more open to online meetings because it can be difficult for people to travel to the Northeast given the limits in connectivity that we have. I'll just talk a little bit about our CSR initiatives before I end. So at Godrej, our sustainability vision focuses on building an equitable and greener world for over 20 million people. Having trained more than 1,400 people and set up 2 waste management plants in Assam, we'll continue to invest in skill building, youth empowerment, different environmental initiatives, and community development of the region. And just to give an example, our upskilling programs have enabled women in Assam to raise their incomes by 50%. So we look forward to replicating that in the other states of the Northeast. So thank you very much for your time, and I'd like to acknowledge our 2 team members here, Raju and Dr. Ramesh, for all their help in building up the oil palm business in the Northeast. Could you please stand up? Thank you so much for everything you've done, and we look forward to partnering with more partners in the Northeast on bringing these initiatives to implementation and fruition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Godrej, for your succinct presentation. Staying with the same sector, may I invite Dr. Autushi, Chairman Echahaba Tea Growers Cooperative Society Limited, to share his thoughts. Please give him a hand.
Good afternoon to all. 8 minutes to present an industry perspective concerning the entire state, and being the single person, I think it's a torture. However, just to compensate with the shortage of time, allow me to skip the salutations and go down straight to share some random bullet points. I hope that the B2B sessions would be very productively utilized by all of us, and I'll just give an overview of how we industry perceive the scenes and the opportunities that are prevailing in the state. Way back in 1965, this great nation embarked upon a massive revolution, the Green Revolution. This was aimed at increasing the agricultural production and also enhancing the productivity per capita productivity. It continued for decades, and as a toddler and as a young boy, I saw truckloads of fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides being transported to the remotest of villages and being stored in the agricultural godowns. They were all wasted because nobody used them. This was not because we wanted to preserve our land, but this simply because we were ignorant about how to use it. We were laggards. We didn't want to adopt new technologies, and we were not willing to take risks. I think, but it was an intervention by Providence that many decades later, on 5th of April 2023, we would be showcasing an uncontaminated Nagaland to potential investors from G20 countries. When people say organic by default and organic, I sometimes feel abused and being, made inferior, because what we have here is natural cultivation. I think these are notches ahead of organic cultivation. The rural settings are very unique, and in the past 1 day or so, and in the coming one day again, you will be witnessing a lot of rural livelihoods and livings, and you will see a number of June fields. The lives in the rural areas even today revolves around the June field, the romance, the folklore, the dance, the festivals, everything, even the gossips revolves around June. And therefore, as our APC has explained, June was a repository of food for a single village, and all food needs were provided for from this June field, and this was subsistence economy. With the basket of demand increasing, there is a need for disposable income and also to commercialize things. We Nagas are humble people. We are, if I may say, having a complex of inferiority. We don't even feel confident about what we have. Had we been boastful of what we have, Nagaland would be issuing organic certification to the entire planet today, because much before people tried to document and streamline the organic cultivation processes, centuries ahead, our ancestors had adopted very unique systems of cultivation. And later on, unknown by both the parties, the World Bank, the FAO, and UNDP have come up with nomenclatures and semantics like contour bunding, organic cultivation, and all that. Contour bunding was very easily done by our forefathers in the June fields to prevent soil erosion and things like that. Many indigenous skills still prevails and are being adopted elsewhere in the world in terms of agricultural produces. Having said this, natural cultivation, as we all know, maintains ecological balance. Crops are very seldom affected by pests and diseases. You might also have heard from the earlier presentations that all kinds of superfoods are grown in Nagaland. Some of them are native to us, some of them were imported as late as 3-4 years back. Avocado, dragon fruit, you name it, kiwi, are being cultivated in bulk and being marketed in the supermarkets of metropolitan cities across the country. Now, although these were being produced, the marketability was limited, and therefore we thought that there has to be economies of scale. We need to realize the economies of scale for which aggregation is required. For aggregation, cluster approach has to be adopted. Earlier speakers have spoken about ODOP, one district, one product, produce, and we are very proactively proceeding in that direction, and we have been able to produce volumes and many more as the demand it requires the supply. More and more crops that are being demanded in the rest of the countries are being produced, and we have at times glut of produce. This needs to be addressed, and for this food processing industry comes into play. I won't want to go into the specifics as the departments and the government officials have mentioned all the details. I only want to highlight on the kind of operations that prevail as far as managing the organizational structure that prevails in the rural areas where primary production takes place. We have this, we have a community living, as we all know. The village council commands the entire operations within a village, and within that, a recent development is the creation of the village development board. The community living that exists is some kind of a hybrid between kibbutz of Israel and also the cooperative societies that are being established in the principles of international cooperative alliances. Having said this, the independence, whether financial or operational independence of the individual and the individual families, are spared. Compliance, of course, is always there, and therefore bringing together the crop and implementing ODOP is not going to be an issue. We'll be able to have sufficient raw material that are being produced, and the government and the industry are working together in an attempt to establish production units in the vicinity of the clusters. This will reduce a great deal in transportation and also wastages. The lead time is also reduced to a great extent. You might also have heard about the communitization of services, for which Government of Nagaland has received UNESCO award. Communitization of services entails controlling of the services, the basic services like education, health services, water supply, power supply and all by the community themselves. All these institutions will come into play in promoting the establishment of economic activities within the vicinity of the villages. This I am saying, going at length to explain this, because I want to instill a confidence in the potential investors that you will be in safe hands if investment comes by. The National Logistics Policy was announced in the year September 2022, last year, by the Honorable Prime Minister, and this has done a lot in reducing the lead time even in places which are remotely located because of digitization of the operations. The government of Nagaland has also initiated to roll out its own industrial, the National Logistics Policy in active consultation with the Confederation of Indian Industry. We have 3 international trade centers, not fully developed, but very eagerly pursued by both the central government and the state government to develop and also link them with the rest of the ASEAN countries through different channels. They are located at 3 different districts of Nagaland, and this will go a long way in promoting economic development of the state. When we talk about economic development of the state, the growth of Nagaland will entail active engagement with Act East policy because of many reasons. Primarily, the cultural similarities, the food habit similarities, and also the similarities in agroclimatic condition and the cropping pattern. And therefore, when this kind of opening up takes place, we hope that value addition facilities can be implemented in Nagaland and elsewhere in the northeastern states. The final confidence building that I would like to measure that you can be, to instill confidence in you is for any investor is to ensure that there is top management commitment. You might have seen that Nagaland is unique in the sense that there is great deal of informality in the government system and operations, and therefore accessibility is very easy. The Honorable Chief Minister is more of a management guru than a political leader. And if I may, this is not flattery, but this is a statement of facts, and I'll just take 2 more minutes and conclude. In the year 2003, when he was the Chief Minister, Agri-Expo, Northeast Agri-Expo was conceptualized. It was a grand success. This was also implemented in close collaboration with the CII. Later on, there was a series of interventions that were implemented by the government to promote the private sector participation and also promote economic development within the state. Year of entrepreneur, year of the farmers, year of skill development, year of the year, these were announced. Certain visible impacts were made, but whenever we used to have discussions with the Honorable Chief Minister and the cabinet colleagues, we saw that the government was not very happy with the kind of developments that are taking place on the expected line. And therefore, what we should be confident about today is the dovetailing of the intentions between the central government and the state government in ensuring, in an attempt to see, in its desire to see that private participation increases in order to promote economic development in the state. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, Startup India are a few things that have come in. The ease of doing business is one thing that has been helping the implementation of startups within the state in a big way. Government of Nagaland will be very, in a few days' time, we will be seeing the rolling out of the state logistic policies. We were assured by the department of that, and also the ease of doing business. And we are confident about it because of the entry of a new advisor to the Chief Minister on Industry in the person of Hekani Chakhalo, who is herself a promoter of entrepreneurship, and she has been the founder of Young Indians, the younger sister of CII, and we are hopeful that the team and also the IDEN, which Honorable APC was speaking about, is being headed by a young, dynamic chairperson, and we hope that this team, and in consonance with the government of India policies, would go a long way in promoting entrepreneurship and also in assuring that the potential investors that you are in safe hands. And we are sure that even though on a case-to-case basis, government would be willing to make amendments to the policies which we have seen in the past happening, and we hope that this will be pursued more aggressively. With this, just because there is shortage of time, I would like to thank everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Autushi. Indeed, we are seeing a positive movement of gluts and subsequently value-added products in the market. So going forward, we have one more speaker on the agriculture sector. I would now like to invite Ms. Krishna Datta, Head Certification Business, TQ Cert Services Private Limited, for her presentation. May I please remind that we are running 1 hour late, so if you can kindly stick to 8 minutes. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, and thank you for this opportunity. So, to begin with, I represent the Tata Group, and what brings me here is our commitment to sustainability and working together with the communities and other stakeholders. So, we go ahead with the thought, embracing the planet, embracing the future. So, I represent TQ Cert Services Private Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Tata Projects Limited. So the Tata Projects Limited, as we all know, is involved in various businesses, especially in developing the infrastructure in the country, inspecting and offering the advisory services for the development. As far as our TQ Cert services and TQS services are concerned, in this we are offering the certification services especially to impart confidence and trust in the products as well as the services offered by various companies. We are accredited by the National Accreditation Board for certification bodies, and in that we offer certifications especially in the area of quality management system and the food safety management system. In addition to that, we do a lot of work around product certifications. So our latest certifications that we have had now is for the drones, that is the unmanned aerospace services. This is our pan-India presence. So we are present in almost every state in the country. And of course, we are also doing a lot of work in the Northeast. Just around a week ago, we completed about 100 hygiene rating audits and certification of 2 Eat Right campuses in Arunachal Pradesh. These are some of our clients who have been associated with us for the last 8 years. We have been doing various certifications for them. We are offering a lot of services, especially in development of their own processes and systems. So as far as organic certification is concerned, we have been hearing about organic certification for some time, and it's really heartening to know that, in Nagaland, the produce is organic, but of course there is no certification given to it. So if I have to really say, organic certification currently is being led by APIDA, that is the Agri-Processed Export Division Authority. So in fact, APIDA would be really happy to have a lot of organic certification done in Nagaland, because there will be a lot of trust and confidence here. If I have to talk about organic certification, what the northeastern region enjoys is the lack of other manufacturing industries which actually impart a lot of emissions and toxins to the agri-produce. So here, at least, since you're free of these kind of effluents and emissions and toxins that could come in from the various manufacturing industries, definitely the produce that we have here will be organic in nature. So as far as organic certification is concerned, the world believes in it. We may say that our produce is organic, but we need a conformance to it. We need somebody to say that yes, this is organic, and as a result of which, when we go for the certification, the entire system is traced back, and nearly 3 to 4 years data is actually looked into, subsequent to which the organic certification is actually imparted. Not only this, once you're certified, you also feature on the website. So the people across the globe, corporates across the globe, can actually trace you, and they can come to you for any kind of product that they would need in their country. Now in this, in India, we also have something called as IND gap. This is essentially for the global gap that you may have heard about, that is the good agricultural practices. So here we talk about the Indian good agricultural practices. We all know that India, the agricultural practices in India is far better than the rest of the world, because we have been an agricultural country for a long time. And as our dignitaries from Nagaland have been maintaining, that traditionally our produce has always been organic, because we have always adopted this traditional agricultural practices. So the IND gap certification especially talks a lot about what traditional practices have been adopted, and those practices actually have gone ahead and led to these agricultural produces, which can be termed as something that is produced out of a good agricultural practice, need not be organic. It is still okay. Maybe there is some kind of traces of some pesticide residue or some drugs, but still they tend to be produced out of the good agricultural practices that are adopted in India. Then we have the Global Gap certification, which is the Global Good Agricultural Practice. Of course, this is more recognized across the globe because it follows a lot of conformance concerns which are highlighted in the Global Gap documentation. So the benefits again is that you are approachable and you will be linked to the rest of the world. So here you have two options as well. You can have individual farmers going in for a global gap, and also you can have the producer groups, that is the group of farmers. So if you have a village cooperative, then the entire village cooperative can go for a global gap certification. This is one of the product certifications that we have been recently doing, and this was developed by us along with the Quality Council of India. This is the voluntary certification scheme for the medicinal plants. So here we ensure that there is a safety that is followed right from harvesting the medicinal plant to creating the product. So the entire chain is actually traced back, and it is a certification of the product itself. We are also a recognized body by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, and here we are doing a lot of work with the regulator. The regulator has entrusted us with doing the hygiene rating audits, the third-party high-risk manufacturing audits, and audits as per the Eat Right India initiative. So when we talk about the high-risk manufacturing, in the food processing, we have always seen that technology has shown up, lot of ingredients have come in. So there is always a possibility that in our pursuit to make a better food, there could be actually additions of various ingredients. So when we talk about food safety, it essentially is about saying that though we have added the ingredients, all these ingredients are safe for human consumption. This essentially brings us to a point wherein it talks about start with a safe product such that you have an end product which is safe for the consumer. So here we are looking at actually certifying the entire value chain as well. This is what I've been talking about, the Eat Right initiative, where we are saying eat healthy, eat safe, and eat sustainable. So this morning we just had a wonderful session with all our millet foods. So millet is one of the products that India is now promoting. This is the millet year for us. So, and it was really heartening to see that so many beautiful dishes made out of millet were served to us. So millet is also one of the very rigid crops, and also it has a lot of value as far as the human body is concerned. So in this we do a lot of certifications, especially in the schools and in various campuses, wherein there are trainings done along with the students, along with the teachers and the parents, to tell them about the benefits of having this Eat Right concept in their daily affairs. As far as our certification process is concerned, we all may know that the certification process actually involves having auditors and inspectors coming in, inspecting the systems, and then giving a certificate. So in TQ-Cert, we have developed a mechanism wherein we start with the fact that we develop competencies among the people of the particular state. We train them to become auditors. We train them to become inspectors. Of course, they are monitored by us. They are guided by us. They are in our empanelment. They are with us. And when we have to do some audits, they are actually sent for the audits. We do the witness and we qualify them. And this actually reduces a lot of cost around the certification. So we have people from the same state doing the audits of the various facilities, inspectors doing the inspection of various farms, and giving us the recommendations based on which we have the registration committee which sits down, evaluates all the findings, and then finally certifies. So the various certifications under the Eat Right initiative that we are currently doing is the Eat Right School, the cluster certification, which has various certificates like the Clean Street Food Hub, the Clean and Fresh Vegetable and Fish Markets, the Bhog, which is the blissful hygienic offering to God. This is for various temples and churches where they have got huge functions. And then we have the Eat Right station. So in India, you may have really heard that Jalandhar was one of the stations which was recently certified as an Eat Right station. Then we have the third-party hygiene rating audits for various restaurants, dhabas, bakeries, sweet shops, meat houses. And we have the Eat Right campus, which is usually for the colleges, hospitals, industrial canteens, malls, and in Punjab, we did a Eat Right campus for jails. So the government is actually interested in having this Eat Right mission to reach out to everybody. So even the jail inmates were actually given some training on Eat Right, and then they were certified. So these are the various certificates, and of course now again when we talk about these certificates, we only give our findings. So this is all happening online, this is on a portal. So we upload all the findings, and these certificates come from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India to the institute. Next, we come to this HACCP and the FSMS related certifications. So HACCP is essentially associated with foods wherein we try to identify and analyze the hazards and identify the critical control points such that once we mitigate them, the food is rendered safe for consumption. So basically, now we have gone a step forward and going beyond FSMS, we have moved to FSSC 22000 and BRC related standards, which are the benchmark standards by the Global Food Safety Initiative. So once these organizations or the food processing units are certified to these benchmark standards, their name features on the GFSI website, and the various retail chains can actually get in touch with them directly for having their products on their shelf. Now, as far as these GFSI benchmark standards are also concerned, again, the competency development around it is very, very critical. So here we talk about every stakeholder involved in the process. So here it starts by saying that when we have a food processing unit, when we are building one, let us adopt food safety at that step itself. So it's a food safety by design. Any processing unit which has a food safety by design will definitely have far less risk as far as the food hazard is concerned. So the food hazards are actually then controlled in the safety design part itself. In this, basically, we are talking a lot about the risks that could come into the food from various steps. Especially, it could come from the raw material ingredients, it can come from the people working, it can come from the machinery, it can come from the environment, and it could also come from the technology that we adopt. So, when we start adopting the food safety by design concept, we are essentially saying that we will ensure competencies of each one of them and then finally put out a product which is safe for human consumption and can be certified as food safe. Besides this, we are also into Ayush certification. So Ayush is about this Ayurvedic products, and especially from the herbs and the medicinal plants. So here we do the Ayush standard mark and the Ayush premium. So of course the Northeast region actually is a very good area for having Ayush products because we can really have premium products here. We also saw that we could add this one portfolio here because the northeastern region actually has a lot of tourism, and tourism now is also associated with wellness. So yoga happens to be one of the very important health-related activity which has been promoted in a big way. So we are also into yoga personal certification. So, and our main reach is to the hotels, to the hospitality sector, where they can actually have people trained in yoga such that they can give this as an offering to their own guests. As I said in the beginning, that what we try and do is we qualify people from the particular state or the region, and then we get the work done by them, and we keep monitoring the whole process. In addition to this, we are also into a lot of vendor selection and vendor development activities. So here we support various industries in this partner onboarding process, wherein we carry out all the audits, all the inspections, all the due diligence activities, and then finally render the vendor to be capable of supporting the principal in giving the service or giving the product. So this is also one of the portfolios that our department handles under TQ Cert. So these are the various activities of our organization, and to sum up the whole, I would again just put forward that since you're already a state where organic products have been produced for a long time, just you need to be certified, that's all, and you will reach the globe. So we are there with you. We will really participate with every stakeholder in whatever way you want us to, and provide the certification services in the state as well. Also, I was hearing a lot of palm oil being produced and plantations being produced. So of course, we all must have heard that there is a huge demand for the sustainable palm oil. So we could actually work together for the sustainable palm oil certification as well. That's again a very, very big certification, and it actually drives towards the sustainability. So we will be one step towards our effort at, having a better globe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Datta, for your insights. We are yet to hear from the IT, the textile, and the tourism sectors. So without further ado, I move into the next sector, that's information technology. I would like to request Mr. Haubam Joyremba, CEO and Managing Director, Cube10 Technologies Private Limited, to share his perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Haubam Joyremba.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary members. I've got two challenges here. One is the constraint of time, and the second is the rumbling in your stomach. So I'm trying to squeeze my presentation. I'll not be going slides by slides, but I'll go through some random points. And my area is going to be perfectly, or rather, completely different from all the presentations that you heard. But I can tell you that IT is something like a potato. It can be put in any curries. It can be everywhere, whether it be your agriculture, whether it be your finance, whether it be education, whether it be tourism. IT is going to be pervasive everywhere. So it gives me immense pleasure to be here and talking to you for this G20 Business Summit here in this beautiful, the place of festivals, Nagaland, Kohima. And I belong to a state, Manipur, which is a neighbor of Nagaland. As you just look around, you will see wires and cameras and podiums and screens where these are all electronics, and these are all driven through IT. If you see a camera over there, you see wirelessly streaming that particular feed into that particular counter, and that is being fed to the YouTube directly now. What I'm a little disheartened at this point of time was that I was just trying to see the speed at which we are getting mobile internet in this room, but the speed of internet here in this room was around 3 Mbps, which was a little shocking to me. Because at this point of time, we are talking about 5G, and in 5G, you should be having around 300 Mbps in your mobile phone. But I'm so much delighted that I have Mr. Imna along, a very, prolific tutorati, and he creates storm. And he is someone who actually, writes around 20, 30 words on Twitter and creates storm in the social media market. Now, when he creates storm in social media, what happens is that it creates jobs. How does he create jobs? He writes a Twitter, and the servers get stuck up because there are so many followers, so many comments, so many people writing about that Twitter. A Twitter particular, 25 words or 30, 50 words is actually translating in thousands and thousands of posts. And that actually is giving a lot of jobs in terms of hardware. You have to increase the hardware in the backend side. You have to increase the software capability of handling the situation. You have to have load balancers on the servers. So people like Imna Along, who's the Honorable Minister for Education and Tourism, is actually promoting, and he's actually the face of IT, I would rather say. Now, if you look around 20 years back, it was all about pagers, that we see in serial movies or in TV serials, that one bip, 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 on a doctor's pouch, and you'll say, read a message, and they'll run to the operation theater. And after that came the 2G. The 2G enabled you to speak while you're on the move. The 3G enabled you to speak to someone seeing him or her, the video calling services. The 4G enabled the quality of service, wherein you have the HD video quality, the YouTube, the quality of voice calling with video, the emergence of the social media network with lots of content, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, and whatnot. So I would rather say that the way the IT has penetrated into our lives is really fast and furious. I'm not talking about cinema, the movie of Fast and Furious, but I'm talking about the IT which is fast and furious. It has come so fast. If you think about just 10 years back, you'll see the change that it has swept through. It is furious because it is not the organizations or the educational establishments, it is impacting each and every one of us in our individual lives. Maybe one day, you never know, that IT will be blended with you. You may become a cyborg. You want to call someone, just do like this, call someone. You want to see someone do something like this, you call someone. It will become a part of you because the devices are getting smaller and smaller, and you don't want to carry your phone, you just want to have it in your body. It'll be blended. So 5G as such is coming in a big way. The industry 5.0 is going to come in a big way. 4.0 is at its fag end. So I think that the IoT industry or the 5G industry, the industry 5.0, these are all coming together at this point of time. And I strongly believe that the kind of skilled manpower in the Northeast is a big, tremendous opportunity for all of us. Say, for example, if you look into the entire landscape of Northeast, whether it be Nagaland or Mizoram or Manipur, you will find so many youths who has this innate capability of speaking in English, which is neutral accent. And in 2021, there was a report from NASSCOM which says that more than 22% of the entire BPO market in India is scattered by people from the Northeast. Now, why are we not having the BPO industry in this Northeast itself, where our own people can come down and stay here, eat the good organic food that people are talking about, breathe the fresh air and not the air, polluted air in Delhi? Why don't we establish a BPO center here? It's doable. But why is it not happening? Maybe 5 years before, it was not possible, because internet was a big challenge. We hardly get around 10 Mbps or 15 Mbps is something which we feel it's very great, but that cannot drive the BPO industry. But now you have a very good internet service. But again, there's one challenge. The kind of internet that we get in the Northeast, especially in Mizoram, Nagaland, and Manipur, the kind of latency, we call it the latency. This is measured in terms of milliseconds. This is like you send a signal to US and it has to come back in some few milliseconds. The latency is quite long. So if you want to have a BPO industry, the latency has to be low. It has to be at least around, maximum around 40 milliseconds. Otherwise, you cannot make a voice call. So even though if you have a bigger bandwidth, 5G has a bigger bandwidth, 4G has a bigger bandwidth, Geo can provide a bigger bandwidth, but that might not be sufficient. You might need to have a gateway, maybe in Nagaland or Mizoram. Of course, I think Tripura is going to is getting a gateway, but then I think this has to be utilized very well, effectively to bring about this, BPO market in this Northeast. I actually am not wanting to go to the slides, but just for the interest. So I would rather say that technology has brought us, all these people, together. So, and one more thing, like AI. AI is a buzzword. And if you do not know AI also, you might have heard about ChatGPT. ChatGPT can write a very strong, very effective message. It is going to, replace so many content writers. So it's a, buzz thing now. Now, my appeal to all the government, especially to the education department, is that these are the things which is happening now, and these are the things which is not there in the syllabus, which is a big problem. We cannot be waiting for the engineers to graduate and start learning these things. These are certain things which has to be there in the syllabus as of now. not wait for another 2 years and be a part of the syllabus. These are the things which has to be taken up by the government at the government level. I don't want to go into the statistics. These are all derived from Google. Now, I just wanted to point one thing, the ethics of AI. AI is coming very strong. In the late 80s, we have seen a movie called, what is that? Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, I forgot the name of the movie, Terminator. So in the late 80s, there was this Terminator, the man versus machine. Now this man versus machine is almost coming to a reality. You know, artificial intelligence having the capability of generating its own program, become more and more intelligent. He doesn't need any food, he doesn't need any sleep, he doesn't need, you know, he is not tired of doing same things repeatedly, and therefore the kind of intelligence that it can gather is limitless. So the man versus machine is coming to the picture, and therefore what happens? The UNESCO adopted in 2021 in November the ethics of AI. To what limit we can use AI. So it is signed by 193 countries. I think way back in 1990s, I think there was an instance of cloning. You know, a ship called Dolly was cloned. And there were certain regulations that, oh my God, how can, if humans are cloned, what happened? You know, something similar to that. If AI is becoming much stronger, what will happen? So the UNESCO is coming into the picture and saying that there has to be a rule and a guidelines, and it is signed by all the 193 countries. AI is pervading the daily lives of billions of people. It personalizes our news feeds. It informs the decision of the governments, companies, doctors, judges, and many more. The judges, they might be very neutral, but they are watching the news. They are watching the news feeds. It may get impacted. So the decisions impacting millions of people should be fair, transparent, and contestable. This is what the UNESCO has mentioned, and there is going to be a limit on AI. Lot has spoken about India. I don't want to go into these details. These are all figures, facts. But I would like to say something about Northeast. If you see the second part of that, a majority of the unemployed are highly educated, as I said before, computer literate, English-speaking youths who could not find a suitable job due to the lack of industries in the region. A large chunk of the youths are now working in the ITS BPO sector across the country. The fact that the northeastern states have a legacy of missionary schools where good English is taught is coming in handy for industry and offers a huge potential. Moreover, states such as Nagaland has English as its official language, which offers prime talent for BPO firms. Now, the shifting of the BPO market from India to a country like Philippines, it has jumped from India to Philippines. Now, I think northeastern state is the right place to actually develop this BPO market in a big way. Nagaland, the land of festivals, we have been seeing from yesterday. We need to have a lot of collaborations. In Nagaland, a lot of things can be collaborated. And I heard someone talking about the IoT. IoT can come in a big way in terms of agriculture. And there are so much opportunities in the BPO. And I think IT has to play a role in peace building. As the Honorable Chief Minister was saying yesterday, Nagaland has a history of wars, headhunting, you know, all these things. You had also had this Second World War. Manipur and Nagaland witnessed the Second World War firsthand. And the British Army Museum has declared the Battle of Imphal and Nagaland as the fiercest battle of the Second World War. Can you imagine that? So many battles were fought in the Second World War, but the Battle of Imphal and Kohima has been declared by the British Army as the fiercest battle of the Second World War. And I think Manipur and Nagaland should play a role in spreading out peace. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and hope we will catch up later in the session. I have a 23 years experience working in the IT sector in the Northeast. So if I can do anything, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your engaging talk. Going forward to the textile sector, may I now invite Mr. Kunal Vaid, the founder and chief executive officer, Resham Sutra Private Limited, to share his perspectives.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Resham Sutra. We are a company that's working on improving lives and livelihoods of rural textile producers across the country. And we are doing this by building India's largest farm-to-fabric value chain. In our brief visit to Nagaland since yesterday, I'm sure you all have been exposed to snippets of the rich textile tradition here. We have all seen the beautiful textiles worn by the performers yesterday at the airport and in the performances in the event yesterday. We saw the hand weaving by loin looms that was displayed. In fact, this tradition goes back thousands of years. Silk textile has existed in the Northeast region for more than 2,500 years. It has been quoted in literature from the Mauryan era. This is the only region in the world which has all types of silk, eri, buga, mulberry, and now also tussar. And another thing that's unique about Northeast textiles is that it's a totally women-centric activity. Unlike many other parts of the country, most of the weavers and spinners are women. In fact, almost all women traditionally learn how to spin and weave fabric. And we have all seen how different festivals in different tribes are associated with textiles. In fact, I was told yesterday that the people who know could recognize the tribe of each of the performers by just looking at what textiles they are wearing. It is a wonderful opportunity to grow the textile industry in this region. This opportunity is worth more than $3 billion, and there's an opportunity to create more than 200,000 new jobs. This is the only part of the world that has more than 3 million trained weavers. That's a huge pool of talent that's already readily available. Muga silk is a geographically protected variety of silk, and it is present only in this region, anywhere in the world. And another interesting thing is that only 50% of the demand for this material is met by the current production for various reasons. Eri silk is another variety that is endemic to this region, and it has a very good potential in farming as well as in downstream activity like spinning, weaving, value addition. In fact, there are great opportunities in all aspects of production and consumption in the entire value chain in the region itself. However, all of this opportunity is not getting exploited to its full potential due to different problems that exist at the different stages of input, processing, and market accessibility. As a result of which, although there are a large number of people who are engaged in textile production activities, but it is not the prime or main vocational activity for most of them. In fact, the average person in the textile industry only manages to do this work for less than 5 months in a year. The average income during these months is extremely low. It stays below 5,000 rupees monthly. And then the region is still majorly an exporter of the raw material. It is not yet able to convert the raw material that is locally grown into finished goods, and thus losing out the opportunity of creating the jobs and creating a market for the products locally. Our company, Resham Sutra, is working with the vision of building local farm-to-fabric value chains, and we create a sustainable livelihood and financial independence for the rural producers through this process. And we do this through innovations in green technologies, with value chain integrations, and with digital interventions for the producers. So our model centers around setting up of a rural experience center, which is like a hub that offers awareness, training, and skill development activities for the rural producers. We then facilitate the rural producers to set up small production centers within the villages. We are also standardizing and improving the quality of product by introducing certification and testing at the village level. We are introducing production technology that is way ahead of anything that exists now, that makes the products accessible and easy to make within the village environment. And then we connect the entire value chain through digital platforms. Our Commissioner for Agriculture earlier today touched upon the potential for eri silk farming in the region. Eri is a very unique kind of silk. It's also known as peace silk or ahimsa silk, because in making of this kind of silk, the silkworm is not hurt. And the local environment and social conditions in the northeast region are very conducive to production of the eri silk. In fact, we can get 4 to 8 crops in a year. On-farm income from eri cultivation can vary from 150,000 to 300,000 rupees per acre for a family. And if we integrate this with further downstream activities, which can also be done locally by the same farmer's family, the income has a potential of doubling further. And there are byproducts that come out from eri production. So eri silk cocoons is the main product, and eri silkworm is a local delicacy, and they enjoy a very good market value here. And then we use cassava or tapioca plants for growing eri silkworms, and tapioca is also another byproduct that comes out of this. This model, in fact, has been successfully implemented in the Bodoland region in Assam, and it can be replicated all over the region. The pictures are not showing for some reason. So we have innovated a series of machines, 12 different machines for the entire textile value chain, from making yarn, making fabric, and doing value addition on the material. These are compact, portable, solar-operated machines which are perfect for use in rural environment, in mountain economy, or any kind of distributed production system. These machines are up to 400% more productive than anything that has existed. They are up to 90% more energy efficient, so they can be easily run on solar power. And we have installed more than 20,000 of these equipment across the country. We have introduced a digital platform that integrates the complete value chain from farmers, yarn producers, weavers, and the end customers. This digital platform does a dual purpose. It gives a production control on inputs, processing, and the end product to the producers, and it gives them access to a B2B and B2C marketplace, and it's connected to other internationally available marketplaces as well. So far, the impact that we have created, more than 60,000 people have been impacted by the work that we have done. On an average, family income for these rural producers has doubled. We offset more than 7,000 tons of carbon dioxide annually through the use of solar power. And we have planted almost 200 acres of silk plantations in tribal regions. Some of our success stories include setting up of silk park, eri silk park in Bodoland region. This is an integrated production setup that starts from silk farming, yarn production, weaving, and digital printing on that. We are setting up a rural experience center in the remote locations in Meghalaya, along with the rural livelihood mission of the state. We have done a very unique project with the prison authorities in Chhattisgarh, where 120 women prisoners have been trained to make silk yarn and fabric, and this has given them a livelihood for their life. In Odisha, we have set up a Tussar silk park that has been used to train 600 tribal women and create employment for them. We are focusing on sustainable development goals of no poverty, equal opportunities, and promotion of renewable energy. Some of the recognitions and awards that we have received include Ashton Award from UK, ISHO Award from the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, and we have been recognized as one of the top startups in agri-tech by the National Startup Mission. Our work has been widely covered by media, regional and national. So at Resham Sutra, we are working to create innovations that bring happiness to people, and this needs local entrepreneurs, local government and social sector people to come together and work for the industry and for the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaid. Our last sector of today's plenary is the tourism sector. May I now invite Mr. Arijit Purkayasta, the Chapter Chairman, Northeast Association of Domestic Tour Operators of India, to share his perspective on the tourism sector.
Good afternoon. The tourism and hospitality sector is a vital part of the global economy, contributing substantially to job and creations in economic growth. In recent years, there has been a tremendous increase in joint ventures partnership in the tourism sector. The examples of multilateral business partnership in tourism and hospitality successful multilateral business partnership in the tourism and hospitality sector is the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, that is GSTC. The GSTC is a non-profit organization that works to promote sustainable tourism practice around the world. Stakeholders, including government, tour operators, NGOs, gather to create and execute sustainable tourism policies and regulations. There are lots of challenges out there. The multiple challenges we have in the hospital sector can be beneficial. There are also a number of challenges that must be overcome. The greatest challenge is to locate collaborators that have similar goals and benefits. Another challenge is that managing the complexity of this partnership with the multiple multiple entities involved. There can be a lot of moving parts to coordinate, and communication can become difficult. The solutions, one of the key benefits of the multilateral business partnership is the tourism and hospitality, and there are benefits is the pool to resource and share costs in the people who are not being able to do much of expenses. In agri-tourism, is the best is that the green banks who are helping for the agri-tourism. This is one point we need to focus on this, because only agriculture and agri-tourism we can collaborate with together, then these are the success stories there. Moreover, multi-level tourism helps in strengthening India's diplomatic relations. Now, solution of a multilateral tourism and hospitality partnership. Embassies plays a crucial role in promoting sustainable tourism. Embassies diplomatic missions that represent the country interests in other countries. They serve as a link between the host country and their own country. Foreign embassies can facilitate cross-border cooperation between different countries to promote sustainable tourism. By organizing meetings, conferences, embassies can bring together stakeholders from different countries to share knowledge and experiences. Now, the film tourism, this is what we actually wanted to discuss about. Filming in other countries has become increasingly popular in recent years, and for good reason. Not only does it provide a unique backdrop for films and TV shows, but also has the potential to boost tourism in the country where filming takes place. In India, since 2016, the easy visa clearance has led to more foreign films being shot in India. If you can see in Singapore, Singapore Tourism Board has supported projects under the Film in Singapore scheme. Many films like Krish and others from China, Germany, Thailand are being shot in Singapore. Now this is in Hornbill. Now we have to think Hornbill is from 1st to 10 December, but can we think beyond Hornbill, something like that, so that at least tourism can sustain, if not 12 months, it can sustain for 6 to 10 months. This is something important, and where this film tourism will boost travels. See, for example, when films or TV shows are not shot in a foreign country, they often showcase the local culture. For example, the widely successful TV series, The Game of Thrones, was filmed in locations all over Europe. And fans of the show have flocked these destinations to see the real-life setting of their favorite scenes. When film crews come to a foreign country, they require a wide range of services, from transportation and accommodation, which is done by the line producers, who are the tour operators. This creates job opportunities for locals and injects money to local economy. Additionally, when film or TV show become popular, it can create a surge in tourism to the filming location. This increased traffic can benefit local business such as hotel, restaurants, and others. Now, if we promote lesser-known destinations, like this is the place in Assam where the Tia community is there. As someone is talking about our bamboo. This is the place where only bamboos, the walls are bamboos, the gates are bamboos, everything is bamboo. And bamboo is called a bamboo country. Here bamboo dominates the village from groups to homestead, walls, even the gates, which works as a knocker or a calling bell. So, when we shoot a film is shot over this time, it will create people will come to know about these destinations. Otherwise, this can be particularly beneficial for rural or remote areas that may not have much tourism infrastructures. So we have to invite screenwriters, we have to invite directors who will come and see this place. And also the culinary, how culinary is promoted through these film shootings or film tourisms. Since time's shortage of time, I've skipped many of this, but in conclusions, multilateral business partnership in tourism have several advantages, such as greater efficiency, shared expertise, and sustainable growth. I think that film tourism, whether it's in India or abroad, will help to promote tourism in each other countries. So this is where we should, instead of doing, we are also doing the wildlife, or we are doing birding, we are doing hornbill, but when we are doing a film shooting in respective places, this will definitely help our other destinations in India or abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Purkayastha, for that wonderful presentation. I would now like to request Mr. Gekrevor-Gevicesa, Commissioner and Secretary, Industries and Commerce, Government of Nagaland, to speak on investment opportunities and support ecosystem for doing business in Nagaland. Please welcome Mr. Gevicesa.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to our honored guests and delegates. I know it's almost lunchtime, and CIA has been very generous in giving me 20 minutes. I believe that's the longest they have given anyone, but I promise I won't take the whole time. Let's try to make it as short as possible. I'm having a bit of a problem with my throat, so I hope I can get through the presentation. But before we go for the investment opportunities, which I believe have also been slipped, and given to all the delegates here. I would like to do a bit of context setting and also talk about the support ecosystem that the state has set up and is setting up eventually. So the problems that our country faced after independence is also something that the state has been struggling with. Now, if we look at the sectors of the economy, we see that agriculture still occupies a large proportion of the economy, but 10 years back, it would have been about 70%. That share has been going down with the greater share for industry and services coming up. That is a good sign as far as I am concerned, because I am speaking on the industry perspective. Now, the roadmap that we have as a department and as representing the government that we have set up for the state is that we want to develop districts, our districts in the state as production centers. And the production centers will consist of clusters and economic zones. These clusters and economic zones will cater to manufacturing industries, food processing, handloom, and handicraft sectors of the economy. We hope to achieve this through state intervention, private investment, and through promotion of entrepreneurs. This will create an enabling, we also hope to create an enabling ecosystem through our policies. We are to increase access to credit and also improve private investments. We hope to tie up all these value chain and production centers through logistics hubs and aggregation centers. So that is the roadmap for industry in the short and medium term. I am only talking about the small interventions and the small investments that are needed here, because I'll be talking about the bigger investments in the coming slides. Now, these are some of the policies that are underpinning our ecosystem. We have the Nagaland Startup Policy, which talks about facilitating a growth and establishment of 500 startups within the next 5 years. These startups also, we have a focus on women entrepreneurship, and we are giving benefits to women entrepreneurs through the startup policy. The tourism policy talks about preserving traditional handicrafts, folk arts, and culture of the state. As you will come to know, our culture and our traditions are very precious to us. We have 17 tribes in the state, and each tribe is unique in its traditions and its culture, represented through its dresses and customs. Now, the bamboo policy talks about promoting ecological security and economic development. I know that bamboo is very dear to anybody who wants to talk about development, industrial development in the state, and we will be, our financial advisor from NEC has also spoken about ethanol being a byproduct of bamboo production. So I'll be happy to say that, I'm also happy to say that the state is very excited to learn that we are getting investments in ethanol. So that has been a very positive development of our B20 meeting. The Nagaland IT policy talks about granting industry status to all software institutions and IT-enabled services. And the water policy talks about conservation, protection, restoration, and rejuvenation of water sources. So apart from this, we also have policies that are under consideration and that are about to be launched. And these are the Nagaland Trade, Investment and Industrial Policy. The old one lapsed a few years back, and the new one is yet to see the light, but it will be launched in the coming few months. The Nagaland State Logistics Policy has also been drafted, and it is in the final stages of acceptance. The Nagaland State Land Bank Guidelines and the Nagaland Land Lease Guidelines are very important for us and also for potential investors, because when you talk about land in Nagaland, the land holding system here the land belongs to the individual, it belongs to the community or clan, and it belongs to the village. So government itself faces problems in acquiring land for investment and for setting up industries. So these guidelines and this policy that the government is coming up with hopes to assist investors in land acquisition. The policy brief on Nagaland women entrepreneurship and the Nagaland state food processing industries policy are also at the final stages, and the Nagaland Public Service Delivery Guarantee Act is something that we feel will be a game changer with government departments, because government normally tends to have a very bureaucratic and heavy-handed approach to everything, and we hope to sensitize bureaucrats to public delivery. Now, talking about the sectoral investments, something's wrong with the, yeah, okay. So these are the sectors that I have been presented with, but I'll be going through only some of them. So, yeah. As my previous speakers have also said, the agri sector and the food processing sector are areas where Nagaland has potential. We have done well there. There is still need to grow, and we are asking for investments here. We are asking for technical expertise. We are asking for partnerships. 3 examples we have put up here. That is Naga King chili, also known as Bhut Jolokia. Our honorable speakers before me have also stated that it is one of the hottest chilies in the world. It is no longer holds the world record, but it is the hottest naturally grown chili in the world. Nagaland pineapple is sweeter than any variety of pineapple I believe that you can find anywhere in the world. And the Kholar Nagaland kidney beans are also something that is unique to Nagaland, and the flavor that they impart to soups and curries are something that you will have to experience. I hope that some of you will be tasting these foods in the next few meals to come. Floriculture is something that every Naga household practices, but as an industry it is still nascent. We look for partnerships here in both for transportation, for marketing, and also for production. Nagaland is a biodiversity hotspot, and as such, medicinal and aromatic plants found here are unique in a lot of ways, and we would like to exploit, and we would like to develop these industries related to medicinal and aromatic plants. An investable project has been mentioned here, that is commercial scale manufacturing center for medicinal and aromatic plants, herbal cosmetics, essential oils, and distillation and perfumes. So these are areas that Nagaland can facilitate investments. Sericulture production, sericulture has already been spoken about by the speaker before me. Let me just reiterate that government has identified area development as a trust area, and set aside certain amount of land, 11,462 acres of land for agriculture. Now, bamboo-based industries, we have 46 species, and Nagaland Bamboo Development Agency is the nodal agency for developing and promoting bamboo. Apart from that, like I mentioned earlier, ethanol is something that we feel has potential, and we have found a partnership that we are very excited about. And we welcome investments here not just for ethanol, but also for bamboo as a handicraft also. I believe my predecessor also spoke about the previous speaker from the Agriculture Department, our APC, had spoken about beekeeping and honey processing. So, Nagaland honey is being promoted through various startups, through various enterprises, and also through the Department of Agriculture and Horticulture, through the Nagaland Bamboo honey Mission. And we feel that our honey, with the organic produce being, with our flowers and our plants being organic, our honey is also organic. So that is a point that we want to leverage on, and that's something that we promote as organic honey. Mineral-based industries are also a part of the wealth of Nagaland. We are looking for partnerships in the cement plant that has been established here in the state. The state has a capacity of 150 tons per day. We have been having some problems in running it, so expertise and private investment to take over production and marketing is also been sought for. I believe there have been some tentative inquiries. We hope for the best, but nevertheless, the reserves of mineral wealth that is displayed here is also something that should be of interest to potential investors. Tourism is one of our favorite catchphrases for talking about development in Nagaland now. And we all believe that it has huge potential in Nagaland. An investable project has been highlighted here as eco-resorts with active steps towards environmental sustainability and social responsibility. So we want to develop resorts along with the local culture, and we want not just an individual to profit, but also the whole community surrounding that to also benefit. Like I said earlier, the handloom and handicraft of Nagaland is distinct from district to district, from tribe to tribe. We have 17 tribes, so you will see 17 different types of shawls, 17 different types of ornamental wear. And these are all handmade, and we want to promote this by making it, by promoting it as handmade, as organic, and we have a lot of cottage industries based on handloom and handicraft, and one of the thrust areas for the government is to aggregate this into clusters and also develop it and promote it as clusters and also as a state product. Power generation is something that Nagaland is still struggling with, I believe, and it is something that has immense potential if you talk about the natural topography and of the state. We have some power projects in the pipeline, and the transmission systems are also being overhauled. So now this development of solar park in Nagaland is something that the department, my department, has also been trying to develop solar parks, and the new and renewable energy mission, the department is also trying to develop solar parks. We have had inquiries, we have had tie-ups, we have had MOUs, and in the next 2 or 3 years, I believe that there is huge upside for solar power production in Nagaland. We have had, even during this conclave also, we have had positive response from investors, and I hope that something will be announced very soon. We want to develop Nagaland as a healthcare center for the Northeast region. We want to make sure that from our neighboring states also that people are attracted to Nagaland. We have a conducive atmosphere, we have a conducive environment and temperature. So investment opportunities in hospitals, medical colleges, and nursing schools are something that we are looking for. And also in holistic health and wellness centers. Education and IT is something that speakers before me have already spoken to. Nagaland has a literacy rate of almost 80%, and all of it, I believe, is English speaking. That is an inherent advantage that we have, and we have a lot of IT savvy and IT skilled youth that are presently working all over the country, and that is something that can be leveraged and developed into industries here in Nagaland. The IT policy is also drafted to tap into this potential. Now, trade and logistics, something that we are trying to develop now, and it is being thought of to develop in the form of hub and spokes. And as we also want to tie this up with our production centers in the form of aggregation centers and logistics hubs, we are also coming up with a proposal for a multimodal logistics hubs that will consist of roadways, railways, and an airfield for cargo. So that's something that we plan to set up in and around Dimapur, Samugadima area. That's potential for investment in logistics center is huge. We need not just investment in terms of for infrastructure, but also investment for expertise. We need technical assistance, and we also need investment for operating the logistics part of these investments. Nagas are sports crazy. They are also music crazy. So you will forgive me if I say that we have huge potential in both, and this potential is untapped. We welcome investments in small and large investment to cater to our entrepreneurs also, and also to cater to the requirements of the state in pursuing its goals. We are not just bound by the demands of Olympic medals, but also by demands of commercial forces. So I think with the craze for sports that exists in the state, I'm sure there will be potential for huge tie-ups here. The same goes for music. Music in Nagaland has been declared as an industry, and the Task Force for Music and Arts is the nodal agency for music in Nagaland. They have been taking care of all the cultural shows that have been shown yesterday in the cultural hall, and today in Kisama also they will be taking care of the cultural show and the music presentations. So that is something that you can experience firsthand, and we would like to showcase music as a potential destination for investment. Please enjoy the shows that happen here in Nagaland, and take back positive memories with you about our music and our culture. So in the end, it's why Nagaland and why not Nagaland? Nagaland is biologically and culturally diverse. Our agro and textile products reflect this uniqueness. By investing in sectors such as agriculture, tourism, healthcare, education, infrastructure, and sports, Nagaland can become a hub for economic activity and growth, not just for the state, but for the entire Northeast region. We sit on the Trilateral Highway, and we are also the gateway to Southeast Asia. We have 5 border trade centers identified in Nagaland, and we hope to activate these border trade centers. 3 of them are already activated, but because of certain issues in Myanmar, we are unable to progress much, but potential is there, and we hope to use this advantage that we have to our mutual benefit. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your stay in Nagaland. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kivitsa, for the detailed presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the segment for the presentations from the different sectors. We'll now move on to hearing from the representatives from the G20 countries as they share their views with us for an engaging 5 minutes each. May I invite to the podium Excellency Mr. Alejandro Simancas Maran, Ambassador of Cuba, up on the stage. Please give him a big hand, shall we?
So, good afternoon. So, dear members of the government of Nagaland, dear friends, my colleagues from the diplomatic corps, I will try to be brief, to be limited to the time given to me. So, it's a real pleasure to be here in this B20 business meeting. In almost 24 hours in this beautiful land of Nagaland, we have discovered the culture, the tradition of the people. We have learned about the work that the government is doing, and we have been witnesses of the beauty of this landscape. For us, it's a real learning. And I deeply appreciate this opportunity, as well as I deeply appreciate all the hospitality given to us by the government, the people of Nagaland, and particularly by the Chief Minister. This cultural diversity and the vitality of Nagaland reaffirm for me the concept we have in Cuba that homeland is humanity, which we can say in India like Busaideva Kutumbakan. Cuba is a Latin American country, is the largest island in the Caribbean, very far from here, more than 15,000 kilometers, but this has never been an impediment for Cuba and India to be very close, to develop a long-standing relationship based on the feeling of friendship, the cooperation, dialogue, and also the admiration. We have a very important, a very intensive, high-level exchange of visit. We have a very important political dialogue, and a very important, of course, cooperation in the field of in the multilateral and international arena. Very briefly, I would like to refer to some sectors in our economic relations. We consider India a strategic partner for Cuba in our plan to change the energy matrix. We are developing 4 big economic projects in the field of renewable energy, in the field of wind energy, solar energy, and biomass energy. Also, I would like to mention the biopharmaceutical industry, which is perhaps the most dynamic sector during the last 25 years in our economic relationship. Cuba, as well as India, has a very important biopharmaceutical and biotechnological industry. Just for example, I would like to mention that the only one Latin American COVID vaccine is Cuban, which has been very effectively applied not only in Cuba, but also in many countries, and not only in Latin America, but also in Asia and even in Europe and Africa. The another sector, of course, for us, fundamental in our cooperation is the Ayurveda. We are developing a cooperation with India in order to improve the work of the Panchakarma Center in Havana, but also to improve the formation of the young medicine student to have as a complementary medicine formation the Ayurvedic medicine. And the last sector is the agriculture, taking into consideration that we are importing right now a very important amount of Indian rice. So in that way, I would like to confirm our will to develop the relationship with Nagaland, using the economic potential, using the potential in the agriculture, and also having into consideration that Cuba is very well known by the international cooperation. We would like to offer all our capacity of cooperation in the field of medicine, education, and sports in the same way we are exploring different opportunities with some other Indian states. I would like to point out that Cuba is chairing this year the G77 group, and we are, to which India is also a member, and we are developing different cooperation international projects, always, but particularly this year has the symbolic meaning, having into consideration the chairing of Cuba of G77 and the chairing of India of G20. So finally, I would like to say that Cuba is a land of culture, history, music, dancing, and above all, the Cuban people is of treasury, his openness, sincerity, and friendship. And Cuba is also a land of beautiful landscapes, the most beautiful, whitest, sandy beaches that reflects a unique blue sky. And I would like to show very briefly a 2-minute video of Cuba, through which I would like you to be embraced by the sun and the warmth of Cuba. So, please.
Viajar es sinónimo de vivir, de explorar, de sentir. Siéntete libre de vivir experiencias únicas. En Cuba, todos los días son irrepetibles. Un país familiar, lleno de alegrías para todos. Un lugar mágico. Regálate ese momento donde sientes que tu felicidad es lo primero del día. Este es un país con una rica herencia cultural, histórica. En sus calles se respiran vivencias, historias viejas y nuevas. Disfruta lo autóctono, lo desconocido. Viaja a tu niñez, a tu adolescencia, a tu país, al mío. La mesa cubana es una experiencia, un recuerdo, un instante que jamás olvidarás. Paraíso tropical, lleno de vida, donde siempre hay un espacio para relajar, disfrutar del silencio, del tiempo en familia, de un momento contigo mismo. Cuba te recibe con los brazos abiertos. Somos una isla de verdes intensos y azules de ensueño que te invita a revelar nuevos espacios llenos de misterio, de belleza dispuesta a ser descubierta solo por ti, donde habitan los ríos más hermosos, las playas más cristalinas del mundo. Suelta todas las amarras. Ven a Cuba y explora la plenitud. Cada sitio está listo para ti. Cada aventura te espera. Entrégate al placer de tener una familia más. La adrenalina también tiene espacio. La diversión está garantizada y pensada para toda la familia, para compartir momentos que solo puedes vivir en Cuba. Cuba te espera. Vive su ritmo, su gente, su alegría. Respira el bienestar y la seguridad en cada rincón de la isla. respira Cuba.
So you can take this video as a letter of invitation to Cuba. And once again, my gratitude to the government and people of Nagaland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Simancas Marin, for sharing your thoughts and also allowing us a glimpse of the beauty of Cuba. Thank you. Next, may I invite Excellency Mr. Guthni Bragason, Ambassador Iceland, to come and share his thoughts. Shall we give him a round of applause?
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the government of Nagaland for the invitation to visit this beautiful state, and the B20 and the CII for the initiative and the organization of the whole trip, and for attending the conference here in Cohiba. It is certainly exciting for me to visit this northeastern part of India, so different from other parts of the country I have visited, and certainly different from my country, Iceland. My country is surrounded by the ocean, with a beautiful but harsh nature, which can be brutal sometimes. But Nagaland is, as we know, all beauty and everything grows here. In spite of the huge difference in size and population, Iceland and India, and Iceland and Nagaland have many things in common. As one of our poets put it, the heartbeat of the people is the same all over the world. And this applies to all of us. I'd like to highlight a few matters that we have in common. And firstly, the global cooperation on sustainability and creating a sustainable future for all according to the Sustainable Development Goals. We have directed our efforts to protect the natural resources of the ocean, the fish stocks, and promote the utilization of renewable energy, sustainable energy, especially geothermal energy, which is also in abundance in India, especially here in the northern part of the country. We welcome the emphasis of the Indian and the Nagaland governments on sustainability that aims to promote green energy and better quality of life for future generations. Secondly, I would like to mention tourism. And one only has to look around to see the great potential for a robust tourism sector in Nagaland. And it is a wonderful tourist destination, and especially for the concerned and nature-loving visitor who is respectful of the culture and the nature of the country he or she is visiting. Thirdly, I would like to highlight innovation, which lies at the heart of the policies of our government, but clearly also at the policies of the Indian government and the Nagaland governments. We would like to explore opportunities that lie in the health sector, software development, green technology, the creative sector, cultural tourism, of course, and specialized products and nature products. Both our countries are innovative countries, despite the difference in size, with a strong technical infrastructure, education system, research and development institutions, and also a great support for gender equality. But first and foremost, we have people with good and new ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Bragason, for your short and sweet speech. We would now like to invite next His Excellency Mr. Jason Keats Matthew Hall, High Commissioner, Jamaica. Please take the stage.
Good afternoon. I think one thing you'll hear today is that you're going to find the most best beach in Cuba, Best destination in Panama. I think everybody is contesting with bests. So I'm going to add to that list of bests because Jamaica, where I hail from, is a land of superlatives, known in the world for our legacy of excellence in sport as well as music. Jamaica is the most musical country on the planet per capita, and is also home to the world's fastest man, woman, boy, girl. If there was a race for babies, they would be in it too. So we have a very strong value proposition in the world, given our strategic geographic location, as most countries in the Caribbean do, being at the nexus of North, South, and Central America. What sets Jamaica apart is the combination of this strategic geographic positioning with the endowment of an investor, business-friendly environment, replete with tremendous incentives, and of course, a very skilled, highly adaptable, and capable human resource. And it's these that put us in a position to be a leading investment destination in the Caribbean and Latin America today. We are globally recognized as being ranked sixth globally in terms of starting a business. I believe you can start a business in Jamaica now in less than 48 hours, which is quite impressive. But more importantly, we see other gains being made, particularly in public partnerships. Jamaica is ranked as being number 4 in the Caribbean and Latin America. And of course, a very interesting little known fact is the prowess of the Jamaican Stock Exchange, which was actually rated by Bloomberg as the number 1 stock exchange in the world in 2015 and 2018, boasting a stock rally of 246%. I think number 2 was Vietnam at 76%. So this is testament to the type of environment that we're in, the type of business acumen that we possess, and where we're headed as a people. So in terms of the key strategic sectors for investment, we are focused in agribusiness, energy, creative industries, infrastructure, logistics, manufacturing, outsourcing, which of course BPO, and we're the leading BPO destination in the Caribbean, and tourism, which is where we see such great commonalities with Nagaland. We have so much in common in that regard. But I will say that I have to contest that claim about the world's hottest pepper. I think we're going to have a pepper Olympics, and we're going to invite your pepper to come, because I do believe that that title is not held here. But like here, we have tremendous agricultural produce. There's something Darwinian when you put products on an island and they're left to grow and develop on their own. When you go to Jamaica, everything tastes different. And of course, we have some of the world's finest coffee, and I see through the corner of my eye my colleague from Panama, with whom I have a regular debate about who has the best coffee. I'm going to leave it to you to decide. You'll have to taste it. But here in Nagaland, you actually have tremendous potential with your coffee. So this brings me to talk about some of the areas of collaboration and cooperation that we could explore between Jamaica and Nagaland. Of course, Jamaica and India have a long-standing relationship spanning over 60 years of uninterrupted diplomatic relations. And interestingly, the Indian High Commissioner to Jamaica is from Nagaland. So of all the people here, all of my colleagues, I think we're the closest to Nagaland because we have that connection. So the areas of collaboration and cooperation that I would identify center primarily on tourism. Jamaica, as a mature tourism destination, has tremendous amount of experience in promotion, in travel trade engagement, in branding development and placement. And so these are areas that we feel that we could lend some assistance to Nagaland in crafting a value proposition to diverse your tourism mix and to better engage the travel world. There are also areas of economic impact assessment. I hear a lot of talk about festivals. It's always good to apply an economic model to gauge the social and economic impact of an event. And so in this regard, we have fashioned some economic models that we use to determine the viability of an event, how much economic impact it's going to have, what is going to be the cost of the event to the economy and to the stakeholders, and finally, of course, which areas we should be pushing. There's also the matter of resilience, and this is an area where India is particularly strong, so much so that it is leading the globe on that front. And in Jamaica, we have fashioned the Center for Tourism Resilience. And this is an area, tourism is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, but it's also the most vulnerable. And this, you'll find, is something that we all need to work together to build resilience against potential shocks that we face. There are also areas of sport tourism and diversified. Nagaland, I find, to be particularly amenable to staging high-intensity sporting events, things like Ironman races, mega events that bring people from all over the world and give you the type of exposure that you need to grow as a tourism destination. And this is something we have a lot of experience in. I, in fact, have the honor of having written Jamaica's sport tourism policy. So this is something we're very strong in. Thank you. There's also the matter of tourism linkages. Tourism in general is a very diverse industry with multiple stakeholders, but there are often leakages of your revenue. And so it is how you develop and create the linkage opportunities. So tourism directly links with agriculture because the agricultural outputs are used in the tourism industry. So what we have done is we fashioned a way to enhance those linkage mechanisms so as to reduce the amount of leakage of tourism revenue. I mentioned your potential in coffee, and agriculture is an area where we certainly could collaborate, especially in terms of establishing a global coffee brand. We feel that you have a strong product, you have the environment for it, but what are you doing to place that product on the global stage? How are you going about marketing that? How are you going about that presentation? That's an area where we could collaborate very closely. And of course, you have the matter of nutraceuticals, functional foods, and agricultural produce. When you have an environment like this, you often tend to find that you have foods of high nutritional value, and these can be cultivated in a manner and promoted so that the world knows about the nutritional value of your produce. Another area of collaboration would be sports development. Currently, right now, we have a young lady from India who is training to be a sprinter. Her name evades me, but I guarantee you that you're going to know about her at the next Olympics. Interestingly, Jamaica has won over a third of the total medals to be won in the Olympics. The only other country to have won more than us is the USA, and they outnumber us by a factor of 100. One of the reasons for this, our success, apart from our attitude and the way we train and our outlook to life, is our topography. And you have that topography here. So all these children I see walking to school in the mornings, climbing these hills, they are creating the necessary building blocks to become the future world champions. And so we offer that service to get you faster, to get you up on the medal podium. There's also education and academic exchange, and these are areas which I feel are always valuable, and certainly one thing COVID has done for us is enabled us. It may have separated us physically, but it has brought us closer together digitally. So there's scope for far greater and deeper collaboration academically between institutions, and this is an area where we could cover all of the previous areas on a virtual basis and a sustained basis. And finally, I mentioned earlier at a previous engagement in Sikkim, the whole matter of G2G and B2B, but of course what drives me most is H to H, and that is heart to heart. So being here in person, engaging with people, meeting people, these are the types of exchanges that are meaningful and lasting. And in that regard, cultural exchanges. The cultural expose that was on show last night was nothing short of incredible. It is truly admirable. And I couldn't help but feel that it could have, I can't wait to see the collaboration between that and some reggae music so that we can really rock the planet in true fashion. So I look forward, thank you. I look forward to learning more of Nagaland. This is my first visit, it won't be my last. For those of you who are interested, I welcome you to Jamaica. For those of you who are not interested, get interested. It's a fabulous place to be. And most importantly, there's no visa requirement for holders of Indian passports. So please, come to Jamaica. Jai Hind, Jaya Jamaica. Respect.
Thank you so much, Excellency, for that engaging talk and that much heart in your talk. Thank you so much. The comparison for the bell peppers is very interesting. It paints quite a picture. We wonder if we will come there with our peppers or you will come back with yours. All right. May I now invite to the podium Excellency Mrs. Jaciel Burillo, the Ambassador and Consul General, Panama, for her speech. Please give her a big hand.
Good afternoon, everyone. A special guest invited to this B20 conference, colleagues, ambassadors, and consul generals, and diplomats in general, G20 delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is an immense pleasure for me to be here, enjoying this warm welcome from all the Nagaland people. I feel a very huge hospitality by all of you. There is a joyful environment, and there is a special details for the G20 guests all over, beginning from the hotel, from the transportation, from the people that is surrounding us. I feel very special, thanks for that. And also, I feel very commonly associated to what I feel in Panama. When I was in the airplane, I was expecting to see more green than what I see in Junelli, that it's my house. And right now, and I do see green. I do feel very special because my country is full of green also. So I think we have a couple of things in common I'm going to mention. One of the things is that we are very small. Panama is the size of Assam, more or less. So you can have an idea. And we enjoy, admire, and culture in all we can the forest and the preservation of the woods and all that it's green. Panama, it's a carbon negative process, carbon negative country. So this means that 63% of our forest and of our lands, it's all forests. So we have a very pure air, just like Nagaland, beautiful skies, and we really try to work in the sustainable development in all the possible ways we can. We also are a country of low population. We are only 4 million people. And the most important thing is that we admire and have 7 groups of tribal people in Panama, which are very different from each other and have different dialects. And just like Nagaland, they have their own land given by the government since 1950. That makes us a country that appreciate not only the forest but the tribal traditions. And an example of this is that just in my presentations, I am always with my tribal kind of textiles that we use in Panama to promote the admiration for our tribal population. So we also have things in agriculture very common. As I am listening to the other speakers, I can see that we also develop agriculture just like Nagaland, very similar products, except for the hottest chili in the world, which I totally cannot compete with that. But we both like rice, we both like corn, and we are like high consumers of that. We produce a very good coffee, just like Jamaica, maybe better, as you say, but Jamaica have the best runners, for sure. And by the way, I really enjoy the coffee I just take recently, it's a very soft and delicious coffee, so congratulations, Nagaland, for that. And it's really good and organic. You can feel the fresher of the coffee. So let's talk about the opportunities after this. But before that, I'm going to mention some couple of things of Panama that you can get to know in your mind an idea of my country. Right now, 2 weeks ago, we, according to Bloomberg 2023 analysis, it reveals that we have a growth of 10.8% in Latin America economy, and that means we are number one and two with Colombia, which is like the fastest economy in the region. Even though we are a very small country, we are very strong in logistics, which is our treasure with the Panama Canal, of course, that you might listen before. So we are a democratic, stable country in Latin America. We have the dollar currency. We enjoy of security. And as I mentioned before, we are very strong in everything that is logistics. So this means that any business you do in Panama, which is in the center of all the America continent, is a strategical location, allow such an easy way of doing business and transportation through all the continent from our unique country. So what are the opportunities after analyzing and listening to the speakers before? I think that in the Western, we are more conscious of what we are eating and the kind of food we are eating. We are also getting into the organic, but we are also beginning to analyze the ancestral grain products, which are the millets. And now India, it's important and it's on the spotlight worldwide this year because of the International Year of the Millet. India is hosting, and I heard that also Nagaland is producing millets. So I think that in the Western, we just get to know the recipes. I have tasted like a kind of a variety of cakes and different kind of products, which are new for us, but they taste delicious. We get to get more conscious of our eating and the exporting of the millets to not only my country but in the Western continent. It's going to be like a good hit because we need that. Also, the weaving and tribal exchange will be very positive. As I mentioned, we have 7 kind of tribal groups in Panama. And the learning from women will be very interesting, and an exchange of tribal knowledge and how each tribal in each country, or in this case a state, can make an interchange of different kind of best practices in that area, and best practices in agriculture too. We are very good in agriculture also because we are low population country, we have a control of that. But of course, there are things we can share and we can learn together. So I think that cultural exchange and agricultural exchange of knowledge and best practices will be something that can be developed. Just to finish, I have a final remark. I'm very impressed of yesterday's presentation and performance, and Nagaland is full of talent, and of course learning that you are a peace promoter after a history of things that's happened in the past, and now the main thing I get about Nagaland is the community spirit, and as the shield of Nagaland says, the unity. For me, it's very special that you have 17 kind of tribes being together in community, working together in unity. So I really congratulate this state because of that. I think you have to perceive and unite to accomplish the goals you have as a state. Congratulations for that, and thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Buriju. It was a delightful and informative sharing. We learned so much about Panama as well, and thank you also for your kind words about Nagaland. May I now invite Mr. Excellency, Mr. Fleming Raul Duarte Ramos, Ambassador, Paraguay.
Apuni Balahase. I know we are now probably in a very last moment of this beautiful encounter here in Nagaland. The beauty of Nagaland, I think, is very difficult to describe. But ladies and gentlemen, authorities, dear friends of the diplomatic community, at the outset, I would like to congratulate the authorities of India, and especially to the authorities of Nagaland, for organizing such a beautiful conclave. I am also a guest. I don't belong to the G20, but next year, Brazil is going to take the lead, and as a Mercosur country, we are going to be co-hosting the G20. As I say before, it's very difficult to describe the richness of cultural, skills and heritage of this beautiful state. We also have very many similarities between Nagaland and Paraguay. We also respect a lot of our tribal original inhabitants. In fact, we inherit a language from the Guarani. We have two official languages, Spanish and Guarani, by constitution. So that is also a signal that we care about our native inhabitants. We respect them. They are very rich in culture also, musical and dancing and literature. Regarding agriculture, I cannot compete with the spices of the most hot chilies of the world, but I can compete with the sweetest sugar in the world, stevia. Stevia is originated in Paraguay. It's a natural sweetener, 0 calories, very good for diabetes and for health, of course. We are the first exporter of organic sugar, and other crops like soybeans, sunflowers, also cassava, corn, rice, wheats Our country is very much also blessed by nature. We feed 600 million people in the world with our agricultural products. We are in the process of manufacturing, and we have a lot of energy in that regard. We hold the second largest hydel plant in the world, the Itaipu Dam, that produces 14,000 megawatts. It's only comparative to the Chinese Three Gorgais hydel plant. We are also landlocked, but I like that we're land-linked. I think we are also land-linked, and curiously enough, water is our most precious natural resource. We hold the most important aquifer water, sweet water aquifer in the world, the Guarani aquifer. We have several rivers and lakes. Actually, our main way of transportation is hydrovia that links the country to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean. Tourism, ecotourism is also growing very well. We have a memorandum of understanding with the government of India. My Minister of Tourism came before the pandemic to sign this memorandum, so we can also extend that kind of agreement with Nagaland. We organized a couple of farm tours to Paraguay. In that regard, we cover some costs of these tours, like transportation, accommodation to the country. So that also can be replicated with beautiful Nagaland. In conclusion, I would like also to stress, and thanks to the government of India, of the reciprocation of opening a new mission in Paraguay last year. His Excellency Ian Jai Shankar was in Asunción inaugurating this new mission. And we are increasing our relationship, people to people. We are working in the visa procedures in order to ease this visa requirement, especially for tourists and the business community. So collaboration can be summed up in these fields: agribusiness, also cattle raising. We are very famous in cattle raising. Actually, we are only 7.5 million inhabitants and 22 million cows. So I know in this part of India, they like also good meat. We also have goats and sheep growing up. So we have plenty of field to collaborate in these areas. Finally, cultural exchange. I believe that Nagaland is very strong in that field, and we can learn a lot of Nagaland in this regard. So I don't have any video to show you. I would like to show, but of course time is very short. So Paraguay te ahibi. Cook Nalim. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Ramos. The farm tours sounds very interesting, and I think we have a lot to learn from Paraguay. However, if we Nagas come, I think we will come for the meat. Ahibo. All right, thank you. Moving on, may I invite Mr. Manfred Oster, Consul General, Germany, to come up on stage.
Thank you very much, and first of all, apologies to Ambassador Duarte for trying to jump the queue. Was just too keen to come on stage and address you all. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would, as the apparently the only speaker from one of the G20 countries, other than the presidency, of course, I would like to use the opportunity to thank and congratulate our host country, India, and the host state, Nagaland, for organizing this G20 meeting here in Kohima. Thanks also to CII for organizing that. I think here and also with the other B20 meetings, you have done a very good job to reaching out to the northeast of India, something that my colleagues and I do appreciate very much, and I think it gives some of us a good opportunity to come here. The Honorable Chief Minister yesterday reminded us of the proud history and the geographical spread of Nagas. And that is something that fascinates me all the time. It is my second visit, and I'm really happy to be back in Nagaland. I first came here in December 2021 on the occasion of the Hornbill Festival, and I would like to really recommend that festival to all of my colleagues and all visitors from abroad in December. It is really mind-boggling. We will get a little taste of that probably this afternoon. But in 2021, unfortunately, that festival was cut short. It found a tragic ending with the killing of 14 civilians in Moon Province by the blotched action of special forces. I think that the fact that the government of India is inviting us to Nagaland, despite of some ongoing demands from civil society that we could have read about today in the papers, is a sign of the maturity of the Indian democracy. And it is really good that we are here and that we are reading and learning from the Nagas about the situation here and about the ongoing negotiations and about the will on all sides to find solutions for that. For us as Germany, it is clear that the rule of law has to prevail and that it is a very good basis for solving conflicts, probably the only basis for coming to lasting solutions. And that is the case everywhere, domestically, but also in international relations. In international relations, also in the ongoing Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, and that has to be resolved according to and in full respect of international law, including the UN Charter. I think our leaders have said it very well in the Bali Declaration. They said, today's era must not be of war. That is something that we have to reach for. The B20 outreach to the Northeast is very valuable, as I said in the beginning, to show the opportunities. And in all our endeavors, in all our cooperation, sustainability is key. Sustainability is also something that the G20 have enshrined in various declarations and in their programs. And after all, we all work for the implementation of the SDGs and the goals that the United Nations have set for 2030. We also see other crises, the climate crisis and the crisis of biodiversity. And here again, Nagaland is an example of where we see a huge biodiversity that is being protected. And we also see probably that climate change is not stopping at its borders. And then again, it shows us how this is all interlinked and how we have to work together for that. When it comes closer to the businesses that we have been introduced to today, I think what I take along is that in the sustainability elements we have talked about in the tourism sector, in the textile sector, we have also one of the sponsors, Eurocentric approach here, I guess. The Ecolastics as one of the sustainability partners, which are producing solutions that we can use in everyday life, and it is something that I also take along as a very important element for the future. I'm not going to go through all the elements that we have heard. We don't have the time for that. I'm simply saying it was a very enlightening one. I'm taking it back, and I'm sure that also my colleagues from the Diplomatic Corps are going to report back about the business opportunities here, and that we are trying to come forward with propositions, and that there will be a possibility of the B2B and also the G2B meetings later on today. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Oster, for your perspective, your eloquent perspective. We're looking forward to our collaborations in the future. And last but not the least, may I now invite Mr. Matlub Ahmed, President, India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I may be the last speaker amongst the foreign countries here, but we're the nearest to Nagaland. We have common border with Northeast. And if you take a flight, we can reach Bangladesh in less than 40-45 minutes. If you take the road, we can reach the Bangladesh border in 8 to 10 hours. That's how near we are. So I'm here, I'll also make a very short presentation in the sense that I'll limit my discussion to the business opportunities between Bangladesh and the Nagaland. First of all, I must tell you, I have come here with an 11-member team, strong team from Bangladesh. So thank you for accompanying me. And we have been supported by Mr. Atikul Haq, the Honorable Minister Commercial in our Delhi Embassy. Thank you, Atik Sahib, to have come and supported us here. I must tell you that Bangladesh and India has a very good political and business relationship for a pretty long time. From the start of our nation, we are indebted to India for their support during our liberation war with Pakistan. And today, if you look at Bangladesh, we have a lot of Indian investments. In fact, my company is partner for Tata Motors and Hero Motors. And we have almost all the big companies in Bangladesh investing there. The reason for investing in Bangladesh is all of them make money. And we have one of the best investment policies by the government. Her Excellency, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, is very business friendly, industry friendly, and she has made rules and regulations which once a foreign investor comes into the country, they never want to go back. Tata is my partner for last 32 years, and Hero is for last 10 years, so they're all very, very happy with it. The way that I propose to states like Nagaland is to have a task force for building relationship for business and industry. I had a call on with the Honorable CM in the morning, along with my delegation, and we have proposed to the government of Nagaland to create a task force for ensuring fast development of trade and investment and connectivity issues between Nagaland and Bangladesh. So we are, as you know, building our deep sea port in Chittagong, Matarbari, where the Honorable Prime Minister, His Excellency Modi Sahab, and the Japanese Prime Minister last week declared that this Matarbari deep sea port will be utilized for the economic development of the Northeast. And I requested His Excellency CM Yosab to declare before all the other Northeast states that Nagaland is ready to look into the prospects of using the Bangladesh deep sea port for connectivity. In fact, 8 years back, we had offered a bridge to be built between South Tripura and Bangladesh, which is a small river bridge, which has now linked the Tripura border with our Chittagong port only 72 kilometers. And that's going to happen. It's already on. And the railway connectivity is also being established so that the whole of Northeast can be connected between by the road and rail. I would like to say that this deep sea port will help Nagaland to increase their exports, have direct access to the world, and also import whatever they want through Bangladesh. The immediate doables between Nagaland and Bangladesh, I found that we can do immediate industries on medicine, herbal medicines, and we can make joint venture both in Bangladesh and Nagaland and have research amongst our two countries. The other thing that we can immediately import is spices like ginger, chili, cardamom. These are all required by Bangladesh. As you may know, we have almost 180 million people, 17 to 18 crore people. And so we need a lot of these spices. The other thing that really surprised me, because I'm a coffee drinker, I found the Naga coffee excellent. So I have proposed that we will look into the prospects of making a new franchise called Naga Coffee. Start with Bangladesh, we'll invest in the first coffee parlor in Bangladesh, and then from Bangladesh, we're going to move it to Pan-India with a Naga coffee parlor. So I'm looking for Naga partners here who would like to talk to us. In fact, after this program, I'll be in the other room, so we'll be talking to people trying to develop that. The other immediate doables is tourism. Bangladesh is absolutely flat, and we have rivers and sea. Here I see hills and beautiful scenarios. So we have complementary arrangements. So we are proposing, we have people from tourism with us. We are proposing agreements on exchanging of tourists between Nagaland and Bangladesh. And the industrial ventures, as you have heard now, that Nagaland is producing 5% of the bamboos produced all over India. That's huge. Now Bangladesh, we have paper mills, and we import pulp from far off countries, Sweden, Canada. So, but there are mills here which are not running that well. So I propose this to the government of Nagaland, that if you can produce pulp with the bamboos that are produced here, we are willing to also invest with you. We are going to buy 100% of all you produce and we'll export it to Bangladesh. I propose this one. The other thing you may know, that Bangladesh is now the world's second largest ready-made garments industries. Fantastic development, big industries are there. I again offered this to Nagaland government, that we can come here with our expertise, with our investments, and produce ready-made garments in Nagaland. Not for the world, but for India. Because India has a domestic demand of $40 billion of ready-made garments. So I've given them a target that let us take $1 billion worth of ready-made garments produced in Nagaland for the Indian market. So this I've offered this to them. Lastly, I must thank the government of Nagaland, and especially the Honorable Chief Minister and all his colleagues for the wonderful hosting that has been done. And I was pretty surprised with the variety of food that has been served and the amount of variety that is, I cannot finish all. So I must come back again with all my team and test the rest of the food that is being offered from Nagaland. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. This is good news for Nagaland Coffee. And also thank you for extending your hand so positively to the state of Nagaland. We thank all our participants for their enlightening deliberations. I'm sure that there is much for our government officials, industry captains to take home, and some important thoughts, the important thoughts and offers made during their talks. In consideration of your precious time, we have decided to forego the interaction session, which was in the schedule, in the hopes that you can carry out fruitful interactions during the B2B and B2G sessions. I hope that will be agreeable to everyone here. And ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end of this session. Before we close, I would like to invite Srimati Hekaneja Kalukense, Nagaland's first woman MLA. She is the Honorable Advisor of Industries and Commerce, Government of Nagaland, for her concluding remarks. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Deputy Chief Minister, Honorable Mr. Tia Ziliang, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Advisors, and members of the Legislative Assembly, Excellencies, Ambassadors, respected Consul Generals and diplomats, respected Chief Secretary, Government of Nagaland, senior government officials of both the central and state government, business leaders, media friends, my dear entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely honored to address you all today and give the concluding remarks. We have heard from various distinguished speakers and experts on Nagaland's enormous potential for economic development, exploring partnership and strengthening each other. India's involvement in the G20 stems from its acknowledgement of the significance of cooperative action and comprehensive collaboration among major developed countries and emerging economies around the world. I am proud that our country is playing an active role in the G20 under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, wherein he has taken initiative to promote global cooperation and address some of the world's most pressing issues through the G20 platform. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude and appreciation to our Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Nifeu Rio, for his leadership in making this a reality in our state, and today our voices are being heard at a global platform. I have no doubt that our leaders will continue to inspire us and lead us with their commitment. A special mention and thank you to Mr. Pradeep Bagla and the entire CII team, the DPIIT, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and the Ministry of External Affairs for putting this conference together and making it a meaningful one. Not only sharing about ourselves, but getting to know more about the visiting G20 countries. With its strategic location and rich cultural heritage, Nagaland offers a unique opportunity for investors to tap into the huge market in the northeast region of India. The state government has already taken several measures to attract investment and improve the business climate in the state. However, much more needs to be done to fully utilize Nagaland's potential for growth in various sectors. What Nagaland can offer has been presented in detail by our Agriculture Production Commissioner, our Chief Secretary, our Commissioner Secretary Industries and Commerce, and other speakers. But in addition, I would like to highlight a few points and sum it up. Agriculture in Nagaland, as mentioned by the Honorable Chief Minister and the Chief Secretary, is organic by default, and without hurting Dr. Autushi, it is natural farming. This provides for a niche market for organic processed food products. Some potential food processing industries that can be promoted are value-added packaged cereal food items, canned fruits and vegetables, and processed spices. The state government has identified this sector as a key area for development and has launched various schemes to provide better infrastructure, technology, and marketing support to farmers. Investment in agri-business, food processing, and cold storage facilities can add value to the agriculture produce and create employment opportunities. The state has about 650 indigenous species of medicinal and aromatic plants, which can help in promotion of pharmaceutical industry as well. With about 5% of India's growing stock of bamboo, the state has tremendous potential for development of bamboo-based industry. NEC advisor earlier had also mentioned about the bamboo ethanol production as an emerging sector. The importance of bamboo as the best possible wood substitute has been accepted by the world amidst the growing concern of climate change. Honey production in the state for 2021 is reported at 650 MT, and there is a production potential of 5,000 MT by 2030. Bees are not only a part of bees are not only a part of the biodiversity on which we all depend for our survival, but this will also be a substantial base for a honey-based industry to flourish. We believe for India, the G20 has accounted not only a geopolitical and diplomatic event, but a tremendous opportunity to highlight its hidden treasures and rich cultural legacy of the northeastern states and thus attract tourism. Nagaland's tourism industry has great potential for growth, given its picturesque landscape, diverse culture, and vibrant festivals. This has been proven by our globally recognized festival, the Hornbill Festival. But apart from this, Nagaland offers distinct opportunities in almost all major areas of tourism, such as adventure tourism, ecotourism, wellness tourism, cultural tourism, experiential tourism, and agrotourism, etc. The state government is already taking steps to promote and market these activities. Investment in hotels, resorts, homestays, tour operation can further boost the tourism sector. The state's rich handicrafts and handloom sector, which is unique in design and has widespread appeal, can be further enhanced by applying these heritage designs to modern products. Nagaland has our very own award-winning company, Heirloom Naga, which exports cane and bamboo and artisanal handcrafted textiles to as many as 30 countries. Investment in this sector can create new market and provide employment opportunities to local artisans. Nagaland is also one of the gateway states to the trade endeavors with the Southeast Asian countries under the Government of India's Act East policy. Investment in logistics and warehousing support to foster anticipated growth in trade can create a new opportunity and improve the state's connectivity with other regions. We have heard from the previous speakers, but I want to again strongly mention this, that one of our biggest strengths is our English-speaking, highly literate and progressive youth offering tremendous opportunities in developing human resources. The state can establish mainstream, vocational, professional, technical, and various other skill development institutions to cater the needs of the youth from the Northeast region and beyond. In the IT sector, our Naga IT talents are developing products ranging from edutech, e-commerce, e-governance applications, and also providing IT and software support services to clients in the UK, US, and Canada. We also have the Software Technology Park of India, where the Kohima Lead Generation Center employs our youths exporting lead generation services for tech companies in the US and Canada. Nagaland government has also been collaborating with the government of Estonia in the field of e-governance to bring about digital reforms. And I'm happy to see officials from the Estonian government with us today. Finally, Nagaland's talented youth excel in sports and music, which you got a glimpse of it last evening. These talents offer new opportunities for development. Investment in this sector can not only tap into the state's abundant talent, but also contribute to the development of the state's cultural and social fabric. As we can see, Nagaland has enormous potential for economic development in various sectors, and the state government has already initiated several measures to attract investment, and with the right support and infrastructure, the state can achieve its full potential. By tapping into the state's unique strengths and resources, investors can not only create opportunities and contribute to the overall development of the state, but inch towards global economic recovery post-pandemic. In conclusion, the G20 summit lies in its ability to bring together various key players to address pressing global challenges such as climate change, trade imbalances, financial regulation, and economic inequality. The discussions and agreements made at the G20 summit have the potential to impact the global economy and the lives of people around the world. We are very happy to note the eagerness and the positive response for exploring collaboration from various country governments and companies attending the B20 today. We believe every guest who have made an effort to visit us is not only enjoying our beautiful state and the Naga hospitality, but is also seriously looking into continuing to explore opportunities to partner and collaborate with us in collectively addressing key global issues with a unified and one voice, and in truly fulfilling India's G20 theme of one earth, one family, one future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for the closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we give our speakers for the plenary session and also ourselves for being very good participants a big hand? We're almost at a close. I would now like to request all our esteemed speakers who were part of the plenary session to please come up on the dais so that a group photograph can be taken. Please come up on stage. Every speaker from the plenary session.
Very kind, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.